morning. Good morning. Please everyone stand for a moment of reflection. Let's now observe a moment of silence to reflect on the different paths that have brought us here. As we honor our graduates, their families and friends gathered here as our distinguished guests, and the faculty and staff of the University of North Carolina at Greensboro. Let's take a moment of silence. Thank you. Now we're going to join with the commencement band and chorus who will lead us in singing the national anthem, the Star-Spangled Banner. Please be seated. I am delighted to be with you today. I'm delighted to bring you greetings from your UNCG faculty and best wishes. Your faculty, those who inspired you, and yes, at times frustrated you. We're very delighted because it's your graduation day. What a wonderful day it is. The UNCG faculty is so very proud of you for all your achievements and making this milestone of your education and your career. As I reflected on what kind of greetings I wanted to bring to you briefly from the faculty, what came to me were probably about 4 ideas, and there are many others. You see the faculty sitting around, and they have lots of other ideas, but I'm going to offer you 4. And the first is dealing with searching the internet. You know, we search the internet for many answers to questions, and we find many ideas there. We use it for research, but there was one question that I couldn't seem to find on the answer to it on the internet, and that was, what is Patty Sink's passion? Have you ever started searching that for yourself? So the idea is, make sure you know your passion, because that passion will take you many places. It will help to direct your pathway. The second idea is know what it is to be successful. Is it money? Is it publication? Is it graduation? Or starting your family, buying a home? Those are all wonderful characteristics of success. But probably first and foremost, success is living a life honestly, with integrity, with the intention to contribute in some way. And I know each and every one of you want to do that. The third step is go ahead, step out of that box. Don't be afraid to take a risk. Risks are important. I must say, when I was thinking about this, my niece, Sandra, came to my mind. In the last year of her 34 years, she said that she learned to live life in the moment and be attentive to everything around her. One expression she made in this last year, she would raise her arms courageously and say, "We must live life with fearless joy." So I encourage you, step out of that box, take a risk, and live life with fearless joy. And finally, and believe me, there are lots of finallys in this room, but the final idea is none of us are perfect, and that's okay. Make sure that you realize that and know that it's okay to ask for help. Please do so. Please know that your faculty here at UNCG are here for you, and after your graduation day, we will still be here for you. Please use our thoughts, our ideas, ask us for advice, and use that information as a source to inspire you forward so that you will find that pathway. You will know yourself, be in the moment, and live life with fearless joy. Be proud of you. Be proud of you at this moment. Be proud of who you will be in the future. We congratulate you on this day. Thank you for letting us be a part of your life. Thank you for letting us be a part of your day, of your graduation day. You all have meant so very much to each and every faculty member sitting in this Coliseum, as well as those who are not in the Coliseum today. We are delighted for you, and we are proud of you. Congratulations on your graduation day. Thank you. One fun thing I have to do at this moment, I get to stay here for a little longer, because in addition to being the representative who brings greetings from the faculty, I also get to have the honor of introducing the leader of the University of North Carolina at Greensboro. She has been our leader since August 2008, and that would be Chancellor Linda Brady. During the past 6 years, Chancellor Brady and her leadership have helped UNCG to receive numerous awards and recognition. Not only does Dr. Brady provide so much to UNCG, she also is respected as a leader and a loyal friend of the Greensboro and Triad communities. You may or may not know this, but Dr. Brady was the first member of her family to attend college, as many of you are also. She earned her undergraduate degree from Douglas College and her graduate degrees in political science from Rutgers and Ohio State universities. Dr. Brady, we are so glad you found your way through many distinguished paths to the campus of UNCG. Thank you for being our esteemed leader, thank you for being our teacher, and thank you for being our friend. Please join me in welcoming to the podium our Chancellor, Dr. Linda Brady.
Thank you so much, Patty, and I am delighted to see so many smiling faces in this audience today. Obviously, our graduates, and especially your family members, who I know are at least as excited, if not more excited than you are, that this day has come. I want to thank all of you for being here and for sharing in what is obviously a very significant moment. It's significant in the lives of our graduates. It's significant in the life of the university and the Greensboro community as well. Today we gather to celebrate academic excellence and student success. For our graduates, this ceremony marks the end of one chapter in your lives and the beginning of another. It is a time for reflection, but it is also a time in which you consider your hopes and dreams. We believe this university stands apart, not only because of our outstanding academic programs and dedicated faculty and staff, but by the difference our people make. At UNCG, what matters, in addition to what is taught and learned, is how the lessons learned are carried forward, locally, around this nation, and around the world. The students who receive their degrees today will use their creativity and sense of purpose to do something bigger, to make a difference. Congratulations to all of our students here today on what you've already accomplished, and best wishes for success and happiness in the years ahead. It is my honor now to introduce members of the platform party. May I please ask the following individuals to stand and remain standing as I call your names so that we may recognize you. Mr. Ed McMahon, representing the Board of Governors of the University of North Carolina. Mr. Jeffrey Collins, class of 1984, and president of the UNCG Alumni Association. Mr. Benoit Sabarin, bachelor's degree candidate and speaker for the May class of 2014. Mr. Dominic Amendum, our commencement speaker. Dr. Bruce Kirchhoff, Board of Governors Teaching Excellence Award recipient. Ms. Sasha Lisenby, tassel turner representing the May class of 2014. Ms. Lindsay Ives, bell ringer representing the May class of 2014. Mrs. Ann Prince Cuddy, bell ringer, representing the 50th reunion class of 1964. members of the UNCG Board of Trustees, Mr. Ward Russell, Ms. Harriet Smalls, and Ms. Crystal Bain, who also serves as president of the Student Government Association. Ms. Susan Safran, representing the UNCG Board of Trustees for the conferring of degrees. Dr. Daniel Winkler, faculty, marshal, and mace bearer. And Dr. Patricia Sink, chair of the Faculty Senate. Thank you all for being with us today. The education that students receive at UNCG would be impossible without the service of hundreds of dedicated faculty and staff. The officers that I am about to introduce are integral to the success of the university. Would you please stand and remain standing as I call your names? Dr. David Perrin, Provost and Executive Vice Chancellor. Dr. Cherry Callahan, Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs. Mr. Reed Taylor, Vice Chancellor for Business Affairs. Dr. Janice Zink, Vice Chancellor for University Advancement. Dr. James Clotvelter, Vice Chancellor for Information Technology Services. Dr. William Weiner, Dean of the Graduate School. Dr. Timothy Johnston, Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences. Dr. McRae Banks, Dean of the Joseph M. Bryan School of Business and Economics. Dr. Karen Wixon, Dean of the School of Education. Dr. Celia Hooper, Dean of the School of Health and Human Sciences. Dr. Peter Alexander, Dean of the School of Music, Theater, and Dance. Dr. James Ryan, Dean of the Joint School of Nanoscience and Nanoengineering. Dr. Robin Remsburg, Dean of the School of Nursing. Dr. James Eddy, Interim Dean of the Division of Continual Learning. Ms. Roseanne Bazirjan, Dean of the University Libraries. Dr. Jerry Pubance, Dean of the Lloyd International Honors College. Mr. Paul Mason, Associate Vice Chancellor for Marketing and Strategic Communication. Ms. Imogene Cathy, General Counsel. Mr. Michael Tarrant, Director of Strategic Initiatives. Ms. Benita Brown, Chief of Staff. And Ms. Betty Betts, Co-Chair of the Staff Senate. Thanks to each one of you for what you do to make this day possible.
Good morning. On behalf of the University of North Carolina's Board of Governors, Peter Hahn, our chair, and President Tom Ross, it is my great pleasure to bring greetings to today's graduates, their families, and distinguished faculty and staff, alumni, Board of Trustees, and members of the Platform Party. And I would just like to say that we're so proud to have Chancellor Brady lead this wonderful school, UNCG. Graduates, congratulations. Your education at the University of North Carolina at Greensboro has provided you the knowledge and skills you will need to achieve success in these ever-changing, complex times. And wherever and whatever your future endeavors may be, we encourage you to stay connected to this wonderful university. Today it is also my privilege to present this year's Board of Governors Award for Excellence in Teaching to one of your most outstanding faculty members. This award was established by the Board of Governors in 1994 to underscore the importance of teaching and to reward great teachers across the university. The awards are given annually to a tenured faculty member from each UNC campus. Recipients are nominated by special committees on their home campuses and selected by the Board of Governors Committee on Personnel and Tenure. Each winner receives a bronze medallion and cash award. Will Dr. Bruce Kirchhoff please step forward? During his 27 years at the University of North Carolina at Greensboro, Dr. Bruce Kirchhoff has made outstanding contributions in the areas of scholarship, teaching, and service. Particularly noteworthy is his ability to connect at three pillars of academic work to exemplify his teaching philosophy, namely, without active learning, there is no learning. Professor Kirchhoff has taught, developed, and revised numerous courses and developed a visual learning software that is produced and distributed free by a company that the professor founded in 2007. In addition, he has conducted teaching workshops and served as the Director of Introductory Biology Programs at the University of North Carolina at Greensboro. Professor Kirchhoff has contributed to curriculum development and assessment beyond the Department of Biology and has made contributions to the general education curriculum at the University of North Carolina at Greensboro. In addition to excellence in teaching, Professor Kirchhoff embodies the spirit of entrepreneurship and hence serves as an inspiration to faculty and students alike. Professor Kirchhoff is a leader in his field both nationally and internationally. Evidence for his success in his teaching are reflected as awards and publications. He received the 2013 ASPT Innovations in Plant Systematics Education Prize for his Image Quiz teaching tool, and also won the 2007 Booth Competition Award for his education booth at the Botany and Plant Biology Joint Congress in Chicago. Both of these are highly competitive awards that highlight the excellent work of educators serving the botanical science community. His work and evaluation of its efficacy have been published as peer-reviewed publications in CPE Life Science Education and in the Journal of Veterinary Medication Education. In evaluation, students consistently praise Professor Kirchhoff for his passion in teaching. One student said, "This was a great course that was far exceeding my expectations." Dr. Kirchhoff made it even more student-led, which encouraged everyone to discuss topics and truly think for ourselves. He gave ample opportunity for everyone in the class to do well and has a thorough knowledge of the subject matter. We learn to be better speakers and writers through multiple presentations, short assignments and essays, and a large term paper. It was all around a very fun class. Former students writing in support of Professor Kirchhoff's nomination attribute their own academic and professional success to his willingness to mentor them beyond the biology classroom and to include them in his research. Professor Kirchhoff received a baccalaureate degree in general studies with distinction and class honors from the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor in 1975, his master's degree in biology from the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor in 1977, and his doctoral degree in botany from Duke University in 1981. He came to the University of North Carolina at Greensboro as an assistant professor of biology in 1986 and was promoted to associate professor in 91 and to a full professorship in 2011. Dr. Kirchhoff, we celebrate your outstanding professional achievement and salute your demonstrated commitment to great teaching and inspiring a new generation of learners. In honoring you, we also acknowledge the more than 14,000 dedicated faculty members who teach over 220,000 students throughout our university system. Congratulations. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Again, congratulations.
Good morning, class of 2014. This is your day. I'm Crystal Bain, and this year I had the distinct honor to serve as the student body president at the greatest university in the world. On behalf of the student body, it brings me great pleasure to offer congratulations to the University of North Carolina at Greensboro graduating class of 2014. I come here today not to lecture you, but rather to speak as one of you and to reflect on some of the experiences that we've all shared together. And so here we are at graduation after a few short or long years of attendance at an exceptional university. For many of us, it feels like just yesterday that we were moving into the freshman residence halls, wondering what the next few years were going to offer. After finding some friends from across the hall or in our new student groups and finally figuring out our roommate, it wasn't long until the stress of our first ever college exams kicked in. And let's be honest, for most of us it was probably the night before. It didn't take us long to realize how different this chapter of our life was going to be in comparison to anything we had ever experienced before. We were finally on our own. No parents around to make sure that we were getting our work done. No one hounding us to stay out of trouble, except for the UNCG police, of course. The time had come for us to take responsibility for our actions and to make our own decisions. I cannot begin to cover the lessons that each of us have learned in our years here at UNCG and the personal growth that we've all encountered. Whether it was studying for those dreaded midterm exams, preparing for that class presentation, sitting through that long night class, spending what felt like an eternity trying to find a parking spot, or deciding the plans for Thursday night, we all had to do it together. I'm certain that lifelong friendships have been created and that the memories from our college years will be some of the best of our lives. A professor had once told me that when we look at the world we live in today, it's very difficult to find a good investment. However, the degree that we will take with us today is one of the best investments that we will ever make. Our education will remain with us throughout our life and will pay lasting dividends to both us and to society. As Malcolm X once said, education is our passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to the people who prepare for it today. After today, people will tell us, "You're in the real world now, kid," but the real world often seems real messed up. And so it's our destiny to go out into that world, to fulfill ourselves, to reach our full potential, and in doing so, make the real world a part of us. In short, make it real awesome. As college students, we're compelled by the duty inherent in our education to go out and improve upon what came before, to serve a greater good, so that for those students sitting here in 2024, the real world might seem a little less daunting. So I challenge you all with this. Do not leave UNCG fearlessly, but rather boldly, and with the knowledge that your footsteps echo with the boom of 17,000 others. You, the class of 2014, will step out together into that real world because you are UNCG Spartans. And no longer simply just Spartans, but a fellowship, a league of young adults equipped, inspired, and ready to tackle that immense task which has been left to you, the real world. Okay guys, so over the past couple years, we've been told that once graduation day arrives, we will have created a community amongst ourselves. And with that community, then we will truly do something bigger altogether. So what better way to commemorate this glorious occasion than with a graduation selfie with me and 2,000 of my closest friends?
Hold up. Crystal, if we're gonna do this right, we have to do this right, okay? So
Benoit, we should take like an Ellen DeGeneres Oscar-style selfie with the graduates.
All right, let's go.
I promised my mom the one thing I wouldn't do at graduation was trip. I'm sorry, Mom, I love you. So, here's the fun part. On behalf of the University of North Carolina at Greensboro Student Government Association, congratulations, class of 2014, on a job well done. Let this be a mere stepping stone for the next achievement that you wish to pursue. Good luck and go Spartans!
It's never easy following Crystal. I'll do my best. On behalf of your Alumni Association, welcome and congratulations. Today, you become the newest members of a worldwide group of over 100,000 fellow Spartans. Your Alumni Association has a professional staff with offices in the Alumni House and a team of volunteers that represent our university globally every day. 30 years ago, I was sitting where you are. 5 years ago, I answered a call to take a position on our alumni board. Shame on me for sitting on the bench for 25 years. Today, I'm honored to stand before you as one of those volunteers and as president of your association. I want to encourage each of you to get involved early and often. We're here to help you, and in turn, we need your help. I imagine you're sitting here today relieved and excited to be finished with college. Let me suggest that you're not finished, but just beginning your lifelong association with UNCG. Before you receive your diploma, I have 2 more assignments for you to complete. First, if you don't already know what you like to do for fun, find out. And do that every single day. It's important and it'll keep you young. Secondly, let your Alumni Association hear from you. If you let us know where you are, we can help you get where you're going. We try to make it easy to stay in touch. We have a web page, email, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We even have a telephone and a mailbox. Whatever works, we're here to help you, and we love to hear from you. There are other ways to stay connected to your university as well. Wear your class ring, display your diploma, bolt on a Spartan license plate. Simply wear your UNCG colors and you'll be amazed how often you find yourself among friends. Speaking of being among friends, let me be the first to invite you back to campus for an event we're holding just for you. In conjunction with our homecoming celebration this year, we're hosting our first ever 0-year reunion. We're going to have exclusive opportunities available just for the members of this class as we welcome you back to campus, your campus, on November 1st. In conclusion, I would like to share with you our vision statement. This is our home, an association built by you and for you. We are steeped in history, focused on the future, dedicated to service, and infused by culture and diversity. Driven to support and nurture our current and future alumni, to give back what was given to us, to remember what was while working toward what can be. We are the long ago, the right now, the yet to come. We are UNCG alumni. Thank you and congratulations.
Good morning. First of all, Crystal, it's okay that you tripped. Jennifer Lawrence tripped twice at the Oscars, and she still looked fabulous, so it's okay. Good morning, families, friends, faculty, and most importantly, graduates. Congratulations. My name is Benoit Saborn, and I'm a proud member of this UNCG graduating class of 2014. I can feel how happy and excited you all are to be sitting here, and trust me, I feel the same way. How amazing is it that 4 short years ago, we were just going through SOAR, and now here we sit as part of the graduating class. And just seeing what we've accomplished, a quite amazing graduating class at that. This year alone, UNCG students completed over 800,000 hours of service completed by 6,000 students. They have completed 7,417 practicum hours, initiated over 200 new members into fraternities and sororities, and over 500 new members into honor societies. Sometimes it felt as if this day would never come, but today it seems as if it appeared out of nowhere. And it's true, the feeling may be bittersweet. This is the place where for 4, or maybe 5, or maybe more years, we've given our lives to our academics, our social life, and our personal growth. It is where we have laughed, cried, celebrated, and overcame. It is where we have lived the saying, do something bigger altogether. At first, I didn't know what our tagline meant. How do you define this phrase? Then I realized that all I had to do was look around at us, the students. Because while this phrase isn't something that can be specifically defined, it is so measurable at the same time. As students, we sometimes think we have to be officially recognized or have our accomplishments announced to know we did something big, something great. But often it is in the space of our quietest moments that we find our inspiration for greatness. It is in those quiet moments that we relish and reflect on our achievements. And no, awards were not always handed out, and public recognition was not always offered, but instead we were offered something so much greater. We were offered the opportunity to leave a legacy for those coming behind us, to inspire them to strive to accomplish even more than us, to raise more money for amazing causes, to complete even more volunteer, internship, and practicum hours, to paint, dance, sing, and act more, to research deeper and investigate further, and of course, to always doing something bigger altogether. So, class of 2014, as you leave your legacy behind, I ask you, what were those quiet moments where you found your inspiration? How did you make UNCG your home to inspire others while fulfilling your dreams and leaving your mark on this campus? And finally, where will you take your legacy next? Hopefully you will go, proudly showing your Spartan spirit and continuing to be ever growing. Because at UNCG, we do not remain stagnant, and we do not stay idle. We grow. We grow and develop ourselves, each other, this university, and our community through the legacy we've established. So take that something you care about, take that legacy, and if you remember the lessons you were taught here at UNCG, I promise you, you will make that legacy bigger. Thank you, and again, congratulations.
let's have another round of applause for our extremely talented students and faculty in music. And now, speaking of talent, I have the great honor of introducing our commencement speaker, Dominic Amendum. Dominic is a 2001 graduate of the then School of Music, who majored in classical piano performance. For the past 7 years, he has found success in New York as music director of the hit musical Wicked. He has conducted Wicked on Broadway, in Los Angeles, and in cities across the United States on the first national tour. More recently, he served as arranger and music supervisor for First Date, while also arranging and supervising the world premiere of Secondhand Lions at Seattle's landmark Fifth Avenue Theater. Dominic also maintains an active coaching studio in New York, working with established Broadway performers, recent college graduates, and even the young child stars of such musicals as A Christmas Story, Leap of Faith, and Bonnie and Clyde. He produced the First Date cast album, as well as solo recordings with artists as diverse as Dolly Parton and Marvin Hamlish. Dominic loves his job, which means overseeing everything an audience hears in the theater. We are honored to welcome him back and acknowledge his outstanding contributions to musical theater. What a wonderful representative of a successful UNCG alum and an inspiration for all of us. I'm pleased to present Mr. Dominic Amendum.
Chancellor Brady, distinguished faculty and guests, parents and families and friends, and most of all, class of 2014 of UNCG. You made it. You're here. Congratulations. If I recall correctly, the last 3 weeks have been full of nerves and fear about finals and graduation prep. And lucky for you, today becomes for you a celebration. All of your nerves and fear have been magically transferred to your commencement speaker. So I'm glad to carry that banner on for you. When Chancellor Brady called and asked me to deliver this address, I said all of the things you're supposed to say when you're given an opportunity like this. Thank you so much. I'd be honored. And will there be free parking? And then I hung up the phone and I broke out into a full body sweat. To come here and speak to you on this occasion, that was something I never expected I would do. So I thought, I'll just write the speech in advance and then I'll have nothing to be worried about. It'll be done, it can sit on the shelf. But as I learned all too well in my 4 years at UNCG, due tomorrow usually means due tomorrow. And without a real deadline, ideas came and went, but nothing really felt good enough. And so one day I was speaking to a friend and she said, geez, Dom, man up, what are you so afraid of? And I thought about that, and I thought about fear, and I thought about how that has affected my life since I left this place 13 years ago to the day. Because the truth is, none of us are strangers to fear. Coming here, I was afraid that I wouldn't be good enough or funny enough or inspiring enough for you. And graduates, when I sat where you sit today, I was afraid then too. And when you leave the doors of this Coliseum today, you're taking a huge step to the rest of your life. And the things that will follow, money, career, family, they inspire fear in the best of us. And now you're all sitting here today having a legitimate fear, which is that I will give the most pessimistic commencement address in the history of commencement addresses and talk about fear for a while. So I would like to change tactics and tell you a little story. I come from a long line of great storytellers. There was once a boy who lived near a theme park. He was deathly afraid of roller coasters. He thought he would fly out, he thought he would hit his head, he thought he might lose his shoes or the change from his pockets. The largeness and the power scared him. He mostly settled for funnel cakes, teacup rides, and log flumes, and spent his whole life avoiding the coasters. Until one life-changing day. Standing in the nacho line that day, he felt a tap on his shoulder. "Hello," said a dark-haired girl. He was immediately lost in her deep brown eyes. "You shouldn't eat nachos before you ride roller coasters, you know," she said. And he said, "I don't ride roller coasters." And she said, "Never?" And lost in her eyes and her long brown hair, he muttered, "Today maybe I will." And that's how he found himself standing in line to ride the guillotine. The ride began with a slow climb, as they all do, and the boy's panic grew to a fever pitch. At the top of the first peak, the boy couldn't move. He thought about screaming, he thought about dying. And then the car took the plunge. As the ride careened ahead, a smile began to spread over the boy's face. He didn't fall out. He didn't lose a shoe. The girl held his hand tightly, and they laughed and screamed together. And thrill and accomplishment filled his heart. All it takes to conquer your fears is one tiny step, just one small step out of the nacho line and towards the roller coaster. And what follows might just be the best experience of your life. So I'd like to share with you today 3 short things I've learned on my journey from nachos to roller coasters. Number 1, calm and focus follow fear. I arrived in New York City on September 7th of 2001. I had no business being there. I had decided just weeks before to move. I had no professional resume, no place to live, and no idea of how to get started in this new place. September 7th. 4 days later, the world changed forever. I stood with others and watched as the skyline that I had already begun to love was destroyed. This was truly a time of fear, and my new home of less than a week was reduced to ash and smoke, sirens and grief. Many left after that day. I stayed, not because I was braver or stronger. I stayed for hope. I stayed because I somehow knew that after the twists and turns and the sudden drops, there's always a flat piece of track, a place of calm and happiness. In the weeks that followed, a city that had seemed too scary and too unwelcoming began to soften. I made lifelong friendships during this time as we all stood together to face our shared fear and horror. But these friendships sustained me, and gradually New York City became my home. Graduates, there will be times ahead that are frightening, and often the things that we should fear are the things that come out of nowhere. They happen unexpectedly on a sunny Tuesday morning. But one small step at a time, you can move beyond that fear, and what happens in the quiet, calm moments that follow might just be the best thing of your life. Number 2, fear creates action. After I'd lived in New York City for a time, I was hired to go out on tour with a musical. I felt pretty fancy. I felt like my career was finally beginning. This tour, however, was the final year a long-running Broadway musical had been playing. And I quickly realized that this was not the ride I had signed up for. Imagine standing in line for Space Mountain and then somehow being stuck in It's a Small World for months. I roomed with an eccentric trumpet player who lived off Ritz crackers, canned caviar, and jugs of wine. And I do mean jugs. We played such amazing locations as the Opelika, Alabama Arts Center, which was actually the middle school cafe gymnatorium. And I learned that fine dining often means a pit stop at the 7-Eleven. I had 6:30 bus calls every day, and I learned that when staying at the Shoney's Inn, it's always a good idea to take the comforter off the bed. If you take nothing else from this speech today, please remember that one thing. This was my life for 7 months. As you can imagine, I often thought about leaving the business. My big fear at the time was, is this all there is? Will I never go beyond this? My dreams of Broadway in New York City seemed very far away. When I returned to New York, I wrote and dropped off letters to 25 music directors then working on Broadway. Letters to people I'd never met, but people who were very famous in my industry. My rate of return was not very successful. One person wrote me back. But we became friends and later co-workers. And because of that one letter, that one connection, I've had the privilege of working for a decade now as music director and music supervisor of Wicked. That one small step has changed my life and career, that one letter. I've been lucky enough to travel the world, work with amazing artists, and meet incredible people. Graduates, we are all a small part of a giant world. No matter what you choose to do, there will always be people who also do it well, and maybe even better. And sometimes you'll find yourself in Opelika, Alabama, while they're on Broadway. And this is a big fear, and it's a real fear. And it can make you give up, or it can propel you out of the nacho line and towards the roller coaster. My hope for you today is that you will all take bold steps in your life and your careers. Put yourselves out there. One step, one letter, one response is all it might take. Finally, number 3, squashing fear promotes creativity. A decade doing Wicked. You heard me right. If you're keeping score, that's over 4,000 performances of the same show. That probably, to some of you, sounds like a cruel torture, but I've loved it, and I feel very lucky to have found stability in this difficult industry. Here's what I know. I am at heart an artist. Artists strive to make new things. Wicked is incredible, but it is the work of someone else, a show that I've been lucky enough to shepherd through the years and even improve upon, but it was never truly mine. And then new fears emerge, even with the stability and comfort of a long-running show or a comfortable job. Fears that lead to thoughts like, I feel stifled, I want to do new things, but I'm afraid to leave this. Or what if I do new things and they're just not good? I spent a few years with these fears. I did my job and I did it well, but the artist in me yearned for more. So about a year ago, I took a step towards the roller coaster myself. I decreased my duties at Wicked and the time I spent there, and I jumped headfirst into new projects. And what has followed for me has been the best year of my life artistically. First Date on Broadway, secondhand lines in Seattle, Heather's the musical off-Broadway, and even, and this is a career highlight for me, some new arrangements for the Harry Potter theme park in Orlando. All right. And gradually for me, the fear of the unknown faded away and was replaced with positive reviews, new friends, fresh ideas, and big new challenges. And I find now that my work at Wicked, 10 years later, is more energized and more focused. Graduates, when you walk out these doors today, the pressure to do well, to make a living, and pay your bills is real. And sometimes it can keep you from doing the things you love in order to make you do the things that pay. And then our careers become jobs, our plans, hopes, and creativity fade away. You sit here today with high expectations for the future, and they are all possible, every single one. Sometimes, though, scary as it might be, you might have to strap yourself into the guillotine in order to reach them. I'm a long way from figuring all this out, and stress, worry, and uncertainty seem to always return when you least expect them to. And to be totally honest with you all today, I despise roller coasters. I've actually never been on one. But I've learned that many positive outcomes can come from managed fear. Just on the other side, there's calm, focus, and happiness. Recognizing your fears will cause action, and squashing them will open the door to creativity. I haven't done it all correctly, and there have certainly been times in my life when my fear has led to panic instead of opportunity. But with the help of family, friends, and in my case, a dark-haired girl in the nacho line, you can find balance and overcome your doubts. So today, as you leave UNCG and embark on the next step of your journey, I leave you with this. Do what you love and keep fear in its place. Surround yourself with those who encourage you. Enjoy the calm, flat pieces of the track. And when you do take those big drops and turns, throw your arms up in the air, laugh, and hold tight to those who love you. Class of 2014, congratulations. I wish you all the best and hope that you enjoy the ride.
Thank you, Mr. Amendum, for your thoughtful and inspiring words, delivered fearlessly. At this time, it is my pleasure to recognize all degree candidates and to authorize Chancellor Brady to confer the degrees. Speaking for the Board of Trustees of this university and acting upon the delegation of powers by the Board of Governors of the University of North Carolina, I authorize you, Chancellor Linda Brady, to confer the appropriate degrees upon the candidates approved by the faculties.
Today, UNCG will award approximately 2,560 earned degrees in the following categories. Huge number. 1,938 baccalaureate degrees. 555 master's degrees. 9 specialist in education degrees. And 59 doctoral degrees. 54 of the degrees awarded today will be awarded to international students who enrich the life of this campus and this community. These figures represent students who are completing their degrees in May. We will now recognize our graduate degree candidates.
Dr. William Weiner, Dean of the Graduate School, will now present the candidates for graduate degrees.
Good morning. This commencement marks a special moment as the University of North Carolina at Greensboro awards today the first Doctor of Philosophy degree in nanoscience. Will the candidates recommended to receive the doctoral degree in nanoscience please stand and remain standing as your degree is recognized. Chancellor Brady, I have the honor to present and recommend for the appropriate degree the candidates who have satisfied the requirements for the doctoral degree just cited.
Acting on the recommendation of the graduate faculty as conveyed by Dean Weiner, and by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees and the President of the University of North Carolina, I hereby confer upon you who have met the requirements for the doctoral degree for which you have been recommended, the Doctor of Philosophy degree in nanoscience with all of its rights, honors, and responsibilities. Congratulations, and please come forward to receive your diplomas. You will be hooded by your committee chair or co-chair.
Joseph Evans Esteves, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. James Ryan. Rabia Yusuf Faisal Rawashda, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Ethan Will Taylor.
Please join me in congratulating our first recipients of the Doctor of Philosophy degree in nanoscience. We will now recognize the remaining doctoral degree candidates. Will the remaining candidates recommended for doctoral degrees please stand? Chancellor Brady, I have the honor to present and to recommend the candidates who have satisfied the requirements for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Doctor of Education, Doctor of Musical Arts, or Doctor of Public Health.
Acting on the recommendation of the graduate faculty as conveyed by Dean Weiner, and by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees and the President of the University of North Carolina, I hereby confer the degrees upon those of you who have met the requirements for the doctoral degree for which you have been recommended, with all of its rights, honors, and responsibilities. Congratulations. Please come forward to receive your diplomas, and you will be hooded by your committee chair or co-chair.
Travis Russell, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Ethan Will Taylor. Tamam Al-Ilamat, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Nicholas Oberles. Karen Michelle Vandermolen, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Nicholas Oberles. Aaron Houlihan Wedehays, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Scott Romine. Cheryl Marsh, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Risa Applegarth. Courtney Adams Wooten, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Risa Applegarth. Chawanuan Kananukun, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Nancy Nelson Hodges and Dr. Kitichai Wachravishrinkan. Connie Sue Albert, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. A.F. Salam. Ernie Mitchell Church, Jr., Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Shia Zhao and Dr. Lakshmi Iyer. Melissa A. Wheeler, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. L. Diane Borders. Jennifer Bell Brown, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Todd Lewis. Aaron Brownlee Dell, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Leila Villaverde. Emily Jean Moran, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Leila Villaverde. Jennifer Toman Stevens, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Leila Villaverde. Pamela Fitzpatrick, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Glenn Hudak. Kevin Richard McLean, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Glenn Hudak. Eric Pryor, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Glenn Hudak. Otto Delano Harris III, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Kathleen Casey. Deborah Ann Green, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Sylvia Betez. Juan Antonio Rios Vega, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Sylvia Betez. Andrew Dallas, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Richard Lecht. Megan Ann Kemery, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Mary V. Compton. Andrea Marie Fernandez, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Deborah Taub. Wendy Ann Powers, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Deborah Taub. Penny Annette Crooks, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Colleen Fairbanks. Allison Huffman Ormond, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Colleen Fairbanks. Christy Miranda Howard, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Samuel Miller. Mark Ray Meacham, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Amy Vetter. Allison Lee Palmadessa, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. David Ayers. Dak Ki Hong, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Catherine Ennis. Leilani Madrigal, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Diane Gill. Erin Jane Reifsteck, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Diane Gill. Yvonne O'Connell Johnson, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Patricia Crane. Janice Ponsenhagen Puglisi, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Patricia Crane. Jill Young Reinhardt, Doctor of Education, to be hooded by Dr. Carl Lashley. Esther M. Underwood Coble, Doctor of Education, to be hooded by Dr. Ulrich Reitzhug. Tiffany A. Perkins, Doctor of Education, to be hooded by Dr. Ulrich Reitzhug and Dr. Kimberly Kapler-Hewitt. Teresa B. Cox, Doctor of Education, to be hooded by Dr. Kathleen Williams. Cheryl L. Coley, Doctor of Public Health, to be hooded by Dr. Tracy Nichols. Allison Kelly, Doctor of Public Health, to be hooded by Dr. Mark Schultz. Richard David Oval, Doctor of Musical Arts, to be hooded by Dr. James Douglas. Leslie Ann Pinky Simmons, Doctor of Musical Arts, to be hooded by Dr. Kelly Burke. Roman Placek, Doctor of Musical Arts, to be hooded by Dr. Mary Ashley Barrett. Justin Charles Davis, Doctor of Musical Arts, to be hooded by Dr. John Locke.
Congratulations, and please be seated. Will the candidates recommended to receive the Specialist in Education degree please stand and remain standing as your degree is recognized. Chancellor Brady, I have the honor to present and to recommend the candidates who have satisfied the requirements for the Specialist in Education degree.
Acting on the recommendation of the graduate faculty as conveyed by Dean Weiner, and by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees and the President of the University of North Carolina, I hereby confer the degree upon those of you who have met the requirements for the degree for which you have been recommended, with all of its rights, honors, and responsibilities. Congratulations. Please join me in congratulating the recipients of the Specialist in Education degree.
And please be seated. We will now recognize the remaining master's degree candidates. Will the remaining candidates recommended to receive master's degrees please stand as your school and degree are recognized and remain standing. Okay. I guess this whole thing fell apart. Okay. I think I have it now.
Technical snafu.
Okay. Slight problem is my book fell apart. This commencement marks a special moment as the University of North Carolina at Greensboro awards today the first Master of Arts in Teaching degree. Will the candidates recommended to receive this degree please stand and remain standing as your degree is recognized. Chancellor Brady, I have the honor to present and recommend for the appropriate degree the candidates who have satisfied the requirements for the master's degree just cited.
Acting on the recommendation of the faculty as conveyed by Dean Weiner, and by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees and the President of the University of North Carolina, I hereby confer the degree upon you who have met the requirements for the master's degree for which you have been recommended, with all of its rights, honors, and responsibilities. Congratulations, and as it is our custom to recognize on stage the first recipients of a new degree, will you please come forward to receive your diploma.
Jennifer Gale Page, Master of Arts in Teaching.
And now, we will recognize the remaining master's degree candidates. Will the remaining candidates recommended to receive the master's degree Please stand as your school and degree are recognized and remain standing. Will the graduate degree candidates in the College of Arts and Sciences for the Master of Arts, Master of Education, Master of Fine Arts, Master of Public Affairs, or Master of Science, please stand. Will the graduate degree candidates in the Joseph M. Bryan School of Business and Economics for the Master of Arts, Master of Science, or Master of Business Administration, please stand. Will the graduate degree candidates in the School of Education for the Master of Education, Master of Library and Information Studies, Master of School Administration, or Master of Science, please stand. Will the graduate degree candidates in the School of Health and Human Sciences for the Master of Arts, Master of Education, Master of Public Health, Master of Science in Athletic Training, or Master of Science in Social Work, please stand. Will the graduate degree candidates in the School of Music, Theater, and Dance for the Master of Arts, Master of Education, Master of Fine Arts, or Master of Music, please stand. For the graduate degree candidates in the Joint School of Nanoscience and Nanoengineering for the Master of Science, please stand. Will the graduate degree candidates in the School of Nursing for the Master of Science in Nursing, please stand. Will the graduate degree candidates in the Division of Continual Learning for the Master of Arts degree please stand? Will the graduate degree candidates for the combined Master of Science degree in Gerontology and the Master of Business Administration please stand? Chancellor Brady, I have the honor to present and recommend for the appropriate degree the candidates who have satisfied the requirements for the master's degrees just cited.
Acting on the recommendation of the graduate faculty as conveyed by Dean Weiner, and by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees and the President of the University of North Carolina, I hereby confer the degree upon those of you who have met the requirements for the master's degree for which you have been recommended, with all of its rights, honors, and responsibilities. Please join me in congratulating the recipients of the master's degree. May I please ask all of our doctoral, specialist in education degree recipients and master's recipients, please stand so that we can recognize all of our graduate degree recipients. Please stand. Congratulations to each of you, and with thanks to the faculty who have enabled you to get to this important milestone. Thank you. We will now recognize our baccalaureate degree candidates.
Dr. Timothy Johnston, Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences, will present the candidates for the baccalaureate degrees from the college.
Will the baccalaureate degree candidates with majors in the College of Arts and Sciences recommended to receive the degrees of Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Fine Arts, Bachelor of Science, or Bachelor of Science in Medical Technology, please stand as your department or major is called and remain standing. African American Studies Program. Department of Anthropology. Department of Art. Department of Biology. Department of Chemistry and Biochemistry. Department of Classical Studies. Department of Communication Studies. Department of Computer Science. Department of English. Department of Geography. Department of History. Department of Interior Architecture. Department of Languages, Literatures and Cultures. Department of Mathematics and Statistics. Department of Media Studies. Department of Philosophy. Department of Physics and Astronomy. Department of Political Science. Department of Psychology. Department of Religious Studies. Department of Sociology. The Women's and Gender Studies Program. Special programs in liberal studies, including archaeology, environmental studies, humanities, integrated science, international and global studies, and social sciences, and finally, majors in independent studies programs. Please join me in congratulating the baccalaureate degree candidates from the College of Arts and Sciences. Congratulations. Please be seated.
Dr. McRae Banks, Dean of the Joseph M. Bryan School of Business and Economics, will present the candidates for the baccalaureate degrees from the Bryan School.
Thank you, Provost Barron. Will the baccalaureate degree candidates with majors in the Joseph M. Bryan School of Business and Economics, the best business school in North Carolina, recommended to receive the degrees of Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of Science, please stand as your department is called and remain standing. Department of Accounting and Finance. Department of Consumer Apparel and Retail Studies. Department of Economics. Department of Information Systems and Supply Chain Management. Department of Management. Department of Marketing, Entrepreneurship, Hospitality, and Tourism Management. Please join me in congratulating the baccalaureate degree candidates from the Joseph M. Bryan School of Business and Economics. Congratulations, and please be seated.
Dr. Karen Wixon, Dean of the School of Education, will present the candidates for the baccalaureate degrees from the School of Education.
Thank you. Will the candidates in the School of Education recommended to receive the Bachelor of Science please stand as your major is called and remain standing? Elementary education. Middle grades education. Professions in deafness. Special education. And the dual major in elementary education and special education. Please join me in congratulating the baccalaureate degree candidates from the School of Education. Congratulations, and please be seated.
Dr. Celia Hooper, Dean of the School of Health and Human Sciences, will present the candidates for the baccalaureate degrees from the School of Health and Human Sciences.
Will the candidates with majors in the School of Health and Human Sciences recommended to receive the degrees of Bachelor of Science or Bachelor of Social Work please stand as your department is called and remain standing? Department of Communications, Sciences, and Disorders. Department of Community and Therapeutic Recreation. Department of Human Development and Family Studies. Department of Kinesiology. Department of Nutrition. Department of Peace and Conflict Studies. Department of Public Health Education. Department of Social Work. Please join me in congratulating the baccalaureate degree candidates from the School of Health and Human Sciences. Congratulations. Please be seated.
Dr. Peter Alexander, Dean of the School of Music, Theater, and Dance, will present the candidates for the baccalaureate degrees from the School of Music, Theater, and Dance.
Thank you. Will the candidates in the School of Music, Theater, and Dance recommended to receive the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Fine Arts, Bachelor of Music, please stand as your department or major is called and remain standing? Department of Dance. Department of Music Education. Department of Music Performance. Department of Music Studies. Department of Theater. Please join me in congratulating the baccalaureate degree candidates from the School of Music, Theater, and Dance. Congratulations. Please be seated.
Dr. Robin Remsburg, Dean of the School of Nursing, will present the candidates for the baccalaureate degrees from the School of Nursing.
Will the candidates in the School of Nursing recommended to receive the degree of Bachelor of Science in Nursing please stand? We saved the best for last. Please join me in congratulating the baccalaureate degree candidates from the School of Nursing. Congratulations. Please be seated.
Will all candidates for the baccalaureate degree please rise? Chancellor Brady, I have the honor to present and recommend for the appropriate degree these candidates who have satisfied all of the requirements for the baccalaureate degree.
Acting on the recommendation of the faculty as conveyed by Provost Perrin and by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees and the President of the University of North Carolina, I hereby confer the degree upon those of you who have met the requirements for the bachelor's degree for which you have been recommended, with all the rights, honors, and responsibilities. Congratulations. Will all the recipients of baccalaureate degrees please turn your attention to Sasha Listenby for the turning of the tassels.
We have come to that long-awaited milestone in our lives, the moment when we are no longer students, but graduates of the University of North Carolina at Greensboro. Tradition requires that before graduation, tassels are to be worn on the left-hand side of the motorboard. After graduation, as a symbol of our new status as degree holders, the tassel is worn on the left. As representative of your May class of 2014, I am privileged to lead you in turning your tassel from right to left, signifying our status as graduates of UNCG. Please join me in turning our tassels. Congratulations.
Congratulations to all of these wonderful new alumni. Please be seated.
In continuing to recognize excellence at our university, I would like to acknowledge the undergraduate students who have graduated with special honors today. These honors are Summa Cum Laude, which requires a minimum grade point average of 3.9, Magna Cum Laude, which requires a minimum grade point average of 3.7, and Cum Laude, which requires a minimum grade point average of 3.5. Will the graduates please stand as I call your honor designation and remain standing while we recognize your achievements. Summa Cum Laude. Magna Cum Laude. Cum Laude. You have brought distinction to yourselves and your university through your high achievements. Congratulations. Please be seated. The university's Disciplinary Honors Program offers undergraduates the opportunity to complete a rigorous plan of study that complements the work they do in their majors. The capstone of their honors work is the Senior Honors Project, a project of independent scholarship similar to a master's degree thesis. The students who completed an honors program this year and the titles of their senior honors projects are listed in today's commencement program. Would you please stand and let us recognize you? Congratulations. Please be seated. Even as we enjoy today's celebration of accomplishments, we remain mindful of the importance of the military in defending our freedoms. Today, we are proud to recognize 5 May degree candidates who are scheduled to be commissioned as second lieutenants in the United States Armed Forces today. Please stand as I call your names. Aaron N. Boyd, Elijah D. McLam, Elaine N. Schwartz from the United States Air Force, Daniel R. Colley, and Mark A. Cunningham from the United States Army. Thank you. Please be seated. We would also like to recognize all of our degree candidates who have served our country in the armed forces. Please stand and let us recognize you. Thank you. Please be seated. The University of North Carolina at Greensboro, in conjunction with its nonprofit agency partner, Beyond Academics, has pioneered an innovative program of study for young adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Established in 2007, Integrative Community Studies is North Carolina's first and only four-year university certificate program of study. It promotes personal growth and development of these students, provided within a richly diverse and inclusive environment. Through the program of study, graduates have demonstrated their capabilities for living on their own, attaining employment of their choice, and meaningful involvement in their community. Will the graduates of Integrative Community Studies please stand and let us recognize you? Congratulations to you, your proud families and friends, and the staff and faculty who support your experience. Please be seated. In 2010, the university launched the UNCG Guarantee Program. Today we celebrate the first graduating class of Guarantee Scholars. Initially funded by a $6 million anonymous donation to the university in 2009, the program helps in-state students to graduate from UNCG in 4 years with little or no debt and provides support for academic and personal success. Will the Guarantee Scholar degree candidates please stand and let us recognize you? Congratulations. Please be seated.
Before we conclude the program today, I would like for us to recognize some very important people who are with us. Would you please stand and remain standing as we all recognize you? First, the parents of our graduates. Please stand. Let me also invite all grandparents, spouses, partners, children, and friends of the graduates to please stand. We are so happy that you've been able to join us today for this wonderful celebration. Thank you. I also want to take a moment to recognize the faculty of this great university. I'd like to ask all of our faculty to please stand so our graduates can express their appreciation for all you have done to bring them to this day. Thank you. Let me also take a moment to acknowledge the participation of the following student groups in this ceremony today. The university marshals provide leadership throughout the year and are integral to this commencement ceremony. May I ask all of the university marshals to stand? Thank you. I'd like to recognize the commencement band and chorus, which provided the beautiful music today. These are incredible students from our nationally recognized School of Music, Theater, and Dance. Let's thank them. I also want to recognize graduating seniors from the Professions in Deafness program in the School of Education. They have provided interpretation of the 2 songs in the ceremony today. Thank you very much. As we bring the program to a close today, let me encourage all of our new graduates to remain connected to your alma mater. As new alumni of UNCG, you become part of one great unbroken band that stretches back to the founding of this university in 1891. Stay in touch. Let us know of your successes. Help us to identify prospective students who will appreciate and benefit from the kind of education you have received here. Advocate in your communities for the importance of public education, including public higher education, and continue the habit of giving back to others. As is our tradition, the university bell will be rung to honor the May graduates. Today's bell ringers are Mrs. Ann Prince Cuddy, class of 1964, and Miss Lindsay Ives, the May class of 2014. Following the ringing of the bell, please be seated and remain seated during the recessional until the faculty and graduates have moved out of the arena. Now please stand for the singing of the alma mater and remain standing for the ringing of the bell.